starting with Benefit's Porefessional Primer to help minimize the appearance of large pores, control shine, and just create a really nice smooth texture for us to work on. Then I'm taking LA Girl's Pro-Conceal Color Correcting Concealer, and this is in the green shade. And I'm just taking a concealer brush by Luxie, and I'm taking my time going through just kind of eyeballing any areas that have redness or any blemished areas, acne, and this is just going to help us in the next step when we go back through with concealer. Green cancels out red, so this just kind of helps basically erase any of those imperfections that we see on the skin. Pro-Longwear concealer, and this is in the shade NC20, and I'm just repeating the same steps as I just did. I'm just going back over and spreading a nice thin even layer of the concealer over that same green that we just used to color correct. And then I'm taking a damp beauty blending sponge. This one is by Real Techniques, and I'm just going back through with a very light hand, and I'm just bouncing that over the areas that we just laid that corrector and concealer to help it blend into the skin nicer. And the foundation that I chose to use on her today was the Tarte Empowered Hybrid Gel Foundation, and this is in the shade Light Neutral. I love this foundation. It's poreless, it's full coverage, it's a gel foundation with hyaluronic acid to really smooth and hydrate your skin. It's hypoallergenic and oil-free, so it's great for somebody with like acne-prone skin, but it does have that long-lasting power. And I think when you just blend it all out here, I'm blending it with a damp Real Techniques sponge again. And I think once you get it all blended out, it just looks so beautiful and glowy on the skin. And it's a very comfortable foundation to wear as well. I'm taking NC20 again with a concealer brush, and then I'm going to use that underneath her eyes and in her T-zone area to highlight the face. And I'm also going to use it on her eyelids as an eyeshadow base. And I think it's important to mention that when you're blending with a blending sponge like this, it's important to bounce it over the areas instead of swipe. That way you're not robbing your skin of any product. And then I'm also taking like a mini stippling brush to just go back in and fine tune that blending. Taking Kat Von D's Shade and Light palette, I'm using the lightest 2 shades in the palette, and I'm taking a Real Techniques setting brush, and I'm just kind of like patting that over the areas that I just applied all of that concealer to set it. And then I'm going to set the rest of the face with Physician Formula's Super BB Pressed Powder, and this is in light medium. And then I'm using my Tarte Amazonian Clay and a Natto Body Bronzer. And I'm using this to kind of like warm up her face. I love this bronzer. It is, it's massive, it's huge. I think it's so much better of a value than the Park Avenue Princess smaller one. But it gives this gorgeous like sheen to the skin. So I love using this as a face bronzer. Then I'm taking the 2 lighter contour shades in the Kat Von D palette, and I'm taking this on a NARS Ita brush, and I'm using that to contour her cheekbones. She didn't need too much contour. She has a really nice like face and bone structure as it is. So you can see I didn't really need to do too much with that. I'm also going to contour a little bit of her nose. I'm starting right where the brow ends in that inner corner, and I'm kind of just taking that down the sides. Not too far down because she does have a narrow tip of her nose. So I'm just doing that and blending it out. And then I'm taking RCMA's No Color Powder on a damp makeup sponge. I did dampen this with a little bit of MAC Fix Plus, and I'm just using that to bake where I highlighted as well as carve out her contour. palette that I'm working with for her eyes is Tartelette in Bloom palette. And the first shade I'm going in with is Sweetheart, and I'm using that on a fluffy blending brush by Morphe. And I'm just using that to warm up her crease. Just buff that pretty much into her crease and very slightly down onto the lid. I'm creating like a sheer wash of color for us to start with. And then I'm taking the shade Rebel, and I'm taking that in a Luxie blender. It's like a smaller blender, and I'm using that to focus the color more on the inner and outer portion of the eye. And then I'm just going to softly blend that. I'm not really trying to get that on the center portion of the lid. I'm mainly focusing it on the inner and outer portion of her eye. And then we're taking the color Leader, and we're basically repeating the same steps as before, only this time we're using a shade that's darker just to intensify and build up that pigmentation a little bit more. And then I'm taking ColourPop's Super Shock Shadow, and this is in the shade Nillionaire. It's a gorgeous pigmented copper glitter, and I'm using my fingertip to just pat that in that center area that we didn't really focus too much of the eyeshadow on. It creates a really nice halo effect. And then I'm going to go in with MICA Beauty Cosmetics Black Gel Liner, and I'm just keeping that really close to her upper lash line. I'm more just creating like a base for when we apply false lashes in a few minutes. And I'm not doing a wing, I'm just keeping it just super simple. And then I'm taking a large powder brush, and I'm going back through and I'm sweeping away where we baked earlier, all that excess powder that is still on the skin. And this is great because it helps catch any fallout that you may have gotten from when you did your eyeshadows. So this just kind of like sweeps all that away and locks on that color, brightens the areas. And then I'm going in with Benefit's They're Real Mascara on a disposable wand. And I'm just doing like 2 light coats. I'm taking my time, I'm separating her lashes. This is more just to, again, create like where we're going to do the false lashes and just help the lashes blend in with the falsies later on. And then I'm taking Anastasia's Brow Wiz pencil, and this is in the color Taupe. I'm just going to kind of brush and comb her brows into place, and then I'm going to use that pencil and just create very light, small strokes just to fill in her brow. She has a gorgeous brow shape. She's, you know, just has light hair. She's very fine. Or fair, I should say, not fine. So she didn't need too much, just like very light filling in. And you can see the difference that that makes when I finish this brow. It just really frames the face. Then I'm going to pop on some falsies. These are nice, just natural wispy lashes that I got. Very similar to the Demi Wispies by Ardell. And then I am going to use Tarte 12-Hour Amazonian Clay Blush, and this is in the shade Tipsy. It's a gorgeous coral, and it just really looks beautiful on her skin. She's very fair. And then I'm using Anastasia's Glow Kit, and this is in the Gleam collection. And I'm using Crushed Pearl, and I'm taking that on the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting brush, and I'm just sweeping that over the high points of her cheeks, up onto her temples, and down the bridge of her nose, just to create a glow. Black gel liner, I'm just tracing that into her waterline, and then I'm going to buff out and like smoke that out with the shade Sweetheart and the shade Rebel that we used from the Tarte in Bloom palette. And then I'm going to highlight the inner corners of her eye with Stila's Kitten. I love this for an inner corner highlight. It's like the perfect like frosty champagne shade. And then I'm going to take black gel liner and I'm going to just trace back over that line just to mask any glue spots and help blend the lash band in with her eye, just to make it less noticeable, or not noticeable at all. And I'm also going to blend her falsies with her real lashes with more of that mascara. And I'm just going to sweep a little bit, whatever's left over on that one, I'm just going to use that on her lower lash line. The color that I chose for her lips is by ColourPop. It's their Ultra Matte Lip, and this is in the shade Bianca. I'm using a lip brush, and I'm just applying this in a very thin, even layer. You don't want to go crazy layering this lipstick. It can look clumpy and uneven. If you do, you can build it up, but you just have to make sure that you're just applying it in very even thin layers. And then I'm going to top that color with a little bit of the Lorac Alter Ego Lip Gloss. This is in the shade Goddess. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous plum color. It looks beautiful layered over lipsticks and even on its own. I actually wore it last night at work just by itself, and it was gorgeous. And then I'm using MAC Fix Plus to just remove any chalky or powderiness, and then I'm going to just set her makeup with NYX Matte Finish Setting Spray. And that's it. That's the finished look. Thank you to Hannah for being a stunning and gorgeous model, and her patience with me while I figure this whole filming thing out. And that's it. So you guys, thank you so much. Please subscribe for more and like this video, comment, share, all those fun things. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.